One of the many sub-areas inside Pharloom's Citadel is the Memorium, accessible to Hornet once she has the Fey-Down cloak. It was intended to preserve pieces of the natural ecosystems of Pharloom so that they would always be remembered and therefore never truly lost. Though its objective is made clear from the lore tablet at its base, the Memorium holds several mysteries, including why it was ultimately a failed experiment. The Memorium was established by holy consent of the conductors, as any project involving the Citadel following the departure of the Weavers would need to be. The section of the Citadel designated as the Memorium may have been converted from the Coral Chambers or been an add-on to the overall structure, in either case designed by the architects. The Memorium is built like a large terrarium with glass walls, suggesting that it was meant to be viewed from the outside to further preserve what was inside. Special choir members called Memoria were trained to be its caretakers. The Memorium is divided into segments which represent the environments of Moss Grotto, Verdania, the Marrow, Far Fields, Greymore, Shellwood, the Sands of Karek, and Vault Nest. Samples of plants were taken from each location, and some of their creatures placed into captivity. The resident wildlife is well fed, and some have grown abnormally large as a result, creating entirely new breeds such as the massive moss grub, crust crag, and huge flea from the moss grub, crust crawler, and flea respectively. Bugs from other parts of the kingdom are also represented by portraits on the walls. One portrait is of a Grom from the Wormways, with live specimens likely excluded because the worm's burrowing tendencies would pose a problem. Another is a worker from Greymore, probably documented in painting so that none would have to be removed from their constant labor in the real Greymore. The Greymore segment of the Memorium was built as an aviary for crawbugs instead. The image of at least one bug from Pharloom Bay is also recorded. The Memorium stored not only living but also non-living specimens as indicated by the Materium, which contains items such as minerals. Hornet can choose to take a smaller version of the Materium for herself to store in her Bell home and use to catalog her own findings from throughout Pharloom. Some Voltridian appears to have been made into the Volt Vessels tool, found in a room where haunted Memoria use them to attack Hornet. The weapons may have been found as relics from the Sands of Karek dating back to when it was under the rule of Crust King Khan, or they may have been constructed by the Memoria using Voltridian from the Materium. When Hornet discovers the Memorium, plenty of its inhabitants are still alive, but some, such as the Craws of the Aviary and Leaf Rollers of the Verdania segment, have all died. One lore tablet reveals that the Verdania section escaped containment and had to be cut off, described as destined to be forgotten. Since the Moss Grotto segment is considerably larger than all the others, the same appears to have happened to it, though the haunting has prevented the Memoria from being able to stop its uncontrolled spread. As Hornet notes in the Hunter's Journal, the wild lands of Pharloom could never be replicated in an artificial space like the Memorium. For one thing, the Memorium consists of low, narrow hallways, while its segment's real counterparts are all inside of wide, tall caves. The fact that anyone had the idea to preserve Pharloom's ecosystems implies that at least some of the Citadel's bugs were aware of the environmental damage that the institution was causing. Instead of stopping the operations that were actively contributing to the problem, the Citadel cast sought to relocate those lands' features inside the Citadel, which was believed to be eternal and would therefore outlast everything else. In any case, the Memorium did not live up to its initial vision. What do you think of the Memorium? Is there anything about it that I didn't discuss here? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget that this channel is not only for Hollow Knight and Silksong, but other media as well, so feel free to see what else I have in store. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.